Markets off the day's high, but still on the positive side, 8,163. Jay Bala is now joining us on the phone line. Jay, good afternoon. What's the view on Nifty? A decent amount of correction has happened?
Yeah, that's right. We expected the correction to last only till 8,500, but this has not changed the picture much. But what it has done is that, this correction has opened up another possibility for the Nifty. So this is on a medium-term basis. We want the Nifty to hold about 777, which is a quadruple 7 figure from a medium-term perspective. And if it does that, the prospect of the market scaling 9660 in 2017 remains intact, which we forecasted for you in the month of April. That would remain intact as long as the market stays above the quadruple 7 figure. But if the market had to dip into that figure, the other possibility is that we're going to see a long drawn chop between 8,500 to 7,100. It could be chopping between 8,500 to 7,100, a deeper correction. But once again, the record highs will come through, but it will be postponed to probably end of 2017 or early part of 2018. So basically, if the markets were to raise higher, we don't want the market to drop below 7,777.
Right. In terms of stocks, what is looking interesting? A lot of names have corrected. Anything looking interesting in the large cap ones first?
Yeah, basically you got to be a bit more patient in the large cap names. As far as sector-wise goes, I think IT might be a contrarian bet at this point of time. From current levels of 10,000 odds, we are looking at least 13,000 for the Nifty IT index. And within this space, you would rather look at something like a Tata Elxsi or an Mphasis. They are very likely bottoming around the current levels, and they are likely to head to record highs.
Right. In terms of banking names, NBFC names, continuously they were hitting new highs. Do you think that will stop for a while now?
Yeah, that's taking a pause for the moment. We like on the PSU banking name, we like SBI and PNB more than the other stocks there. And likewise, from a private sector space, we like Karur Vysya Bank. So these are the names to focus within the banking space. I think banking index is doing much better than Nifty, and I think we can look at record highs of 22,000 to 23,000 over a 9 months time frame.
In terms of NBFCs, let's look at Bharat Financial. How would you look at MFI space? Very, very strong moves in the last few quarters or in the last few years. A little bit of correction. You think it's a buying opportunity?
I don't track that stock so closely. You can look at something similar, something like a Shriram Transport or something like a Sundaram Finance. Basically, disclosure, I have a very, very small holding within these two. These are a long-term perspective. If you look at something like Sundaram Finance, I'm looking at something like a level of 2K for it. And, it's a very less touched name and less spoken. Just keep eyes out on this. These are likely to do quite well.
Right. In terms of Bharti, Idea, anything that you like?
Been a big disappointment. I think we need to stay away from the space. Not that they're going to drop precipitously. If at all you need to focus on something within the space, you're better off looking at something like I forget the name. It's not such an attractive space to me, so I would rather avoid this sector at this point of time.
Right. There are three names and you took two, so the third one is RCom. Were you trying to tell about RCom?
No, not RCom. It's a smaller player. It's a much smaller player. It's a very niche player. It's a third-rung stock, but it's looking pretty attractive for me.
How would you look at the auto pack, Tata Motors, Maruti, Eicher, anything looking interesting? All of the auto pack seems to be bouncing back today.
Yeah, we were very bullish on Maruti when it was much lower in 4,000 odds level. It has scaled something like 5,800 and come back, which was exactly our projection. They are undergoing a decent amount of correction, and it's sensible for them to undergo this sort of correction. It's very healthy. they are still in a very strong spot. But we must let this current correction play through, and then once that's done, we can take a look at the position. I think that we still have more record highs coming through. Just that this is not the time to position yourself there.
Right. Anything interesting on the metals pack? Anything like Hindustan Zinc, Hindalco, Tata Steel? Anything looking good?
Yeah, I think Hindalco has been a major performer in the last few months. That's definitely looking interesting, and you can look at further highs to come through for this space, and you're likely to see a short correction to something like 140 to 150 for Hindalco. Once it's done that, we are looking at record highs to scale something like 210 to 220. So this is a very interesting space here. We can focus on secondary names, but at this point of time, there is a short-term correction that's likely to come through.
You mentioned about technology pack earlier. Which are the picks in the technology pack? There are a lot of mid-cap companies. There are a lot of large-cap companies. Which ones would you prefer?
Yeah, I think as percentage-wise, I think the mid-cap ones have a lot of room to deliver. Large cap, obviously, we like Infosys and TCS, but from the mid-cap perspective, if you look at something like Tata Elxsi, it can double from current levels of 1,200 odds to something like 2,500 to 2,600, and similar setup for Mphasis. But we just want to be sensible at this point of time. Our allocations should be very low at this point of time. Once the market starts to cooperate with our market view, then you should pyramid your position going forward. Don't plunge straight on with the maximum position at this point of time.
Right. Just a word on the Nifty. What's the next thing to look at? You mentioned about the ultimate level of 777, but how would you tend to look at the markets?
Yeah, as I said, there are two possibilities. One is the market chopping for several months going forward. Our preference is still for the market to raise higher. But if the markets were to falter somewhere under 85.58 and 8500, then I think the possibility that the market is going to chop between 7100 and 8500 for several months going forward is going to be the primary projection. But at this point of time, we are maintaining that the markets are still northbound for record highs. But we just keep an eye out on that 85.58 levels and 85.06 levels. If the markets fails just under these levels, we'll then flip the projection as a long-term chop for the next 2-3 quarters, and that will be the projection. So watch out for this 8500 ballpark.
Right. Jay, thank you so much for taking out time for us, and hope to see you again once we have a further move in the market to the levels.